going to look at variables in a bit more detail. So you will have seen variables in the previous video with input and output, but we're going to look at what exactly a variable is now. So a variable is a named location in memory. So named means that it's given a name, and a location in memory means that when the program's running, it's held in memory, in which you can store a value. So we're storing one value in memory, and it can change within a program. So variable is like the word vary. Vary means to change, so variables can change within a program. You'll often hear variables being described like a box. So the box is like that memory location. You can name that box, and then you can put one item in that box at a time. Unlike maybe a moving box, you can only put one item in that box at a time, and if you take something out, it's gone forever. But that's one way of thinking of a variable. So in this bit of code here, most of this looks pretty recognizable from the last bit with printing names and inputs, but we've got lots of variables here. So name is a variable because it's storing whatever the input is. Surname is a variable, it's storing that string. Full name, we're creating a variable made up of two other variables, and you'll look at these plus and minuses later on. Age, again, year, and these are all the variables, and you can use them later on in the program. So if we needed to, we could change these. For example, we could add 1 to the age if we needed to, but those are the variables in this code. Now, naming conventions for variables. So in Python, there are certain rules that dictate what name you can give your variable. So it can only contain numbers, letters, and underscores. That means it cannot have spaces in it, it can't have any special characters, just numbers, letters, and underscores. But it cannot start with a number. So we'll look at some examples. So it can have numbers in it, but it cannot start with a number. And you can't use Python reserved words. So as you work through the tutorials, you'll see a lot more reserved words in Python, but if is a reserved word, as is like print. So you can't call a variable print, you can't call a variable if. Those cannot be your variable names. And our convention is to start variables with a lowercase letter. So we'll look at some examples next. So of these, some are correct and some are not. Name, that's fine. It's not really conventional. We don't normally start with an underscore, but that would work. If name, if is a reserved word, but when we combine it with something else, that's fine. Name 33, absolutely fine. Name underscore 33, absolutely fine. So those are all absolutely fine variables names. Now name and this here, they will work, but normally we start our variables with a lowercase letter, and we want our variable name to mean something. This is nonsense. It's going to make your code really confusing if that's what you name your variables. And then the rest of these are all wrong. These both start with numbers, we can't have that, and then these are both reserved words in Python, so we cannot use those.